Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Rosewater. We're in Dr. Clark's laboratory. We've convinced him to leave with us. He wants to develop a freely available energy source as opposed to the slightly alarming weaponry that he's currently working on for the, well, I was going to say US military, but it's New Vespasian military. But yeah, he's writing a note to his assistants. We need to kind of figure out a way out of the lab. We're in his room for the first time, and we're just going to start by looking at stuff, I think. See if we can puzzle out a way out of here.
It's a ferrotype of Clark's old lab near Rosewater. A ferrotype of a desert landscape. Who are those busts of?
Galileo, Copernicus, Da Vinci. 3 great men who changed the world as we know it.
Hoping to add your likeness to the collection someday?
Well, I wouldn't be opposed, if I'd earned it, of course.
At least there's plenty of books down here. A toolbox. Naturally, Clark would be a tinkerer.
Anything we
Might
can
I
use?
borrow your screwdriver, Dr. Clark?
By all means.
That is one messy desk. What is it they say about desks and minds?
We can talk to him, although I don't know if we have much
Dr.
more to
Clark?
say.
Yes, what is it?
Oh, well, maybe we do.
Did you know that a group of ethericity worshippers flocked to your old lab and set up a commune there?
My lab in Rosewater?
Yup. We met them when we went there looking for clues as to your whereabouts. They picked everything clean. Built a kind of museum to you and your work.
I had no idea, but my work always attracted strange sorts. Curious gawkers would show up now and again, hoping to catch a glimpse of something spectacular, or the angry bereaved, threatening vengeance for the victims of the disaster. It's been quite a relief, not having to worry about all that down here.
That commune by your lab? They're from a religious movement calling themselves the Luminarians. They believe a whole bunch of gobbledygook about glowing people who live in the ether, and people who die from ethericity being really lucky because they go to etheric heaven or something, and they like to paint shadows and butterflies all over everything for some reason. They also think you're some sort of saint or prophet, and there's a mural with a painting of you looking like you're going through this kind of portal in space and talking to some glowy angel alien creatures.
Wow.
That's about all you can say, isn't it? So the dog's going mad again downstairs, as he seems to be doing quite often at the moment. See, the sun's come out and there's people around, and we live in quite a busy area, and every time someone goes past our house, the dog goes nuts.
Something I've been wondering about.
Hmm?
When we first started looking for you, the idea was floated, let's say, that you had a stash somewhere of cash left over from investments in your research that had to be concealed once the work became illegal. Is there any truth to that notion?
You're asking me to tell you if I have a secret hidden fortune.
Well, I don't expect you to tell me where or hand it over or anything. I'm just burning to know if there was really anything to the rumor at all, or if it was all just dust and fairy tales.
What do you think?
It's gotta be a load of bull. Pretty far-fetched. Still, I've gotta go there and ask the questions, right? That's the only way to get the full story.
He's been quite non-committed.
So how do we make our escape without alerting your assistants?
First things first. We need to call the elevator so we have a way out. But we also need to find a way to disable the communications relay. Otherwise, the alarm will be raised and they'll catch us in no time.
Okay, let's work through those.
So how can we call the elevator?
Good question. It requires a 4-digit code. To my knowledge, the only people who know it are General Laporte and the guard upstairs.
Too bad I didn't think to ask what it was before getting rid of him.
Without that code, we are stuck.
I'll figure something out. So how can we call the elevator?
Whoops.
Without...
Could you explain this communications relay thing?
Of course, next to the elevator, there's a device we can use to contact the person standing guard upstairs. It's mainly for emergency use. If the guard doesn't respond after a time, the wires relay the signal to Laporte's office.
So we need to disable it to keep Laporte from suspecting anything.
Precisely.
Hang on. Okay.
I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
Let's go investigate those things then and see if there's a suggestion. We've got a screwdriver now, which is probably going to be of use. I want to go back out here for both those things, I think. So maybe the screwdriver we can tamper with the speaking tube.
These crates are all marked Rosewater,
Like the ones we saw on the wagon.
as we suspected. This confirms they were headed for Project Rosewater. I've never seen a lamp glow green before.
It is rather eerie.
Yeah, well, all this stuff we're going to need the code for, but what about this?
It's the communications relay. We need to disable it before getting Clark out of here. I don't see any screws.
What about shooting it with a laser gun?
This is going to be loud. I should make sure the elevator's ready to take us back up first.
Okay, let's have a look at this thing then.
This contraption has a keypad instead of a slot. It must need a code.
I can see screws though. Maybe can we unscrew anything?
There we go.
A little looky at this then. What do we got?
Interesting. This metal plate has several contact points. Guess I pressed too many. Guess that wasn't the right code.
So does it need to activate all this stuff?
Guess I pressed too many.
Well, what about the punch card thing?
Well, how about that?
Ha 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 ha. Okay, so a little bit of experimentation here. What does 1 do? So not 1. 1 does not appear in the code, so we can cancel that. What about 2? 2 does. 3 does. No 4. Okay, so let's go back. 2, 3, 5 does. 6? No. So we've got 2, 3, 5 so far. 2, 3, 5, 7. No. There's got to be 2, 3, 5, 8, right? 2, 3, 5, 8. Tick.
Guess that wasn't the right code.
Okay, but it's going to be some order of those, doesn't it? So maybe 2, 3, 8, 5.
Guess that wasn't the right code. Damn. There must be a way to figure out which buttons. The configuration of the piston seems to be the key.
Yeah, I mean, I know the numbers, I just don't know the order. All right, how about 8, 5, 3, 2?
Guess that wasn't the...
2, 5, 3, 8.
Guess that was... Still not getting it. I wish this can...
Yeah, you don't need to give me that clue, because I know that. 2, 3... Oh, did I already do 8, 5? I may have done.
Guess that...
Alright, what about 3, 2, 5, 8?
Guess that was...
Alright, what about... Is there a way to kind of determine the order here that I'm not seeing right now? Can't examine anything there.
Guess that wasn't... Guess that wasn't the right code.
Alright, what about doing it so it's organised front to back or left to right? Oh, that's the back row. It might be 5 first. Maybe it's 2, 5, 3, and then 8.
Guess that wasn't...
Or this side to that side, so it would be 8, 3, 5, 2.
Guess that wasn't...
I feel like there must... I mean, 4 digits is going to have quite a few combinations, so I don't want to sit here for hours just guessing it.
Guess that wasn't...
Is there anything else to sort of glean from this?
This contraption... Just like the one in the courtyard...
What happens if I pull it?
Nothing. I have no idea. Well, how about...
Yeah, but what order, Harley? Oh. Is it me, or did that make a different sound? That's a proper click. That wasn't. There we go. I think we're done.
There! That was it. I figured out the code. The elevator's ready to be called.
Excelente. Let us make our escape.
Not just yet. I need to take care of the communications relay.
The what?
That contraption on the wall there. Clark said we need to disable it before we leave. Not until we're... Stand back. I'm taking this thing out.
Oh! Híjole!
I thought the plan was to do this discreetly.
Desperate times and all that. Now come on, let's get out of here.
You're taking the prototype, I see. Wait, where did you get a charged power cell? We only charged one up, and we used it in the demonstration.
I hooked this one up to the etheric generator.
You what? That's incredibly dangerous. That kind of unfiltered surge would leave the power cell completely unstable. Unless it's discharged within the next, 20 minutes. It will explode.
Oh, we'll have to worry about that later. Let's get back topside before your assistants figure out what's going on.
If that power cell starts glowing white, you had better let me know quick.
After you, Doctor.
Hold it right there.
Shouldn't you be cowering under your bed?
Shut up. Hand over your weapons and come with us. There's someone wants to see you.
Taking some air, Dr. Clark? Kindly stand over there if you would. You three,
Up against the wall.
That doesn't bode well.
She had this funny pistol on her.
Ah, there it is. Can't let this fall into the wrong hands, can we? Now, have you got anything to say for yourself?
Don't think for a minute you'll get away with this.
Get away with what? Punishing the thieves who've robbed me 3 times?
We are not thieves.
No, you raided my supply wagon, broke into my private room, took my key card from my safe, and stole my etheric pistol. If you're not thieves,
I mean, technically.
you should consider taking it up. You're naturals.
We had no idea the wagon was yours. We were only trying to help the Otham right a wrong done to them.
Friends to the savages, how noble. It's clear to me you've no idea what you've stepped into. So, who put you up to this?
You think I'm gonna tell you?
Perhaps there is honor among thieves. We've chatted long enough.
General, what are you doing?
Conducting my own test, Doctor. It's time to see if your prototype really works.
Not so fast, Laporte. I would strongly advise you not to fire that pistol.
And just who in blazes are you?
Timothy King, representing D.W. Shaw and Vespuccia Petrol.
Why have you come to this little summit?
Miss Leger and her companions were charged with delivering Dr. Clark to my employer. They are the company's responsibility. I'll have to insist you stop interfering with our agents and let them go.
You can't be serious.
I am.
Boys, take care of this louse.
Stand down, pendejo!
Yay!
Lieutenant General!
Well, we've got all kinds coming out of the woodwork tonight. And who might you be?
Lieutenant General Marisol de la Vega. You must be General Laporte.
Seems you new Spanish revolutionaries are much cleverer than I was led to believe.
Cabron.
General Marquez assigned me to trace the suspicious shipments of Aurum passing through Fort Beaumont. The trail led here.
Well, bully for you. Perhaps if you attended more to affairs in your own country, you rebels could accomplish more than mounting the occasional irritating riot for Spain to put down. But instead, here you are irritating me.
I gotta put a bullet in your head, Laporte.
Do so, and you'll receive one in kind. That goes for Mr. King as well.
It would seem we have reached an impasse.
I'm afraid the word impasse is not in my vocabulary.
Get this man a dictionary.
All right, big man. Put your money where your mouth is. Go on, shoot. I dare you.
Challenge accepted.
That one's on me. What was I expecting? Let's take that again. You're playing with fire, General. Literally.
How do you mean?
The power cell in that pistol is unstable. It's about to blow unless it's discharged.
I see. Thank you for the warning.
He's gonna shoot us again.
Suppose I should discharge it then.
What a jerk. People like that don't deserve warnings. Let's take that again.
Alright, so what do I say here?
Aren't I entitled
Let's,
to some last words?
Yes, I
Delay
suppose
him.
So. Go
We're gonna
on.
filibuster him till he blows up. Let's go with the words that are like,
I must say,
what's gonna happen to him?
all the people I've met, you're the most unstable. Wouldn't you agree, Dr. Clark?
Oh yes.
What?
General Laporte, there is something you need to know.
Now, Clark? Really?
I am afraid it's quite important.
What then?
Well, you see, In my research, we uncovered some fascinating facts about the nature of ethericity. As it turns out, etheric particles, when agitated, enter a state of flux. They begin to dance, in a manner of speaking.
Yes, and...
Well, normally this isn't a problem, but if one were to, say, contain an excessive etheric charge in a small container, the particles would dance with an ever-growing intensity. They would continue this frantic movement until, after a certain amount of time, the harmonic resonances
That's how you filibuster.
caused by the vibration of the particles would rapidly intensify, at which point, with no outlet, they would quite literally explode.
Are you saying you've discovered how to make an etheric bomb?
Yes. That would be more or less the long and short of it.
That is excellent news, although this is a strange time to deliver it. We'll have to work it into the next phase of the project.
Well, as it turns out, I'm a bit ahead of schedule.
Oh?
Yes, an etheric bomb has already been developed.
Clark, you mad genius. I knew it was a wise decision to hire you. I can't wait to see this new weapon.
Boom. How'd you like it?
Oh dear.
Santa Maria! Whoa!
Hands up, cobarde!
Nice going, Doctor.
That was... Oh my. I wasn't sure how much longer I could keep stalling.
That was one of the most satisfying explosions I have ever seen.
Let's get
Agreed.
off this rock, shall we?
Well done, Lieutenant General. I knew you would come through.
Of course, Comandante. Now that we have discovered the destination of Laporte's clandestine Orem shipments, how shall we proceed?
It is clear the General will no longer be needing his Orem. How remarkable that in his final moments he chose to donate it all to the glorious cause of the revolution. You will find it all stashed away down in the base underground. I leave the arrangements in your hands.
Will you be returning with me?
Not just yet. I need to return with the others to collect our payment.
Very well. We can rendezvous on the island later.
We're back, ma'am.
I assume everything has been taken care of?
All loose ends have been tied.
Splendid. Send them in. You've no idea how pleased I am at your success. It's good to finally make your acquaintance, Doctor. I am D.W. Shaw.
The pleasure is all mine, madame.
We have much to discuss. First, I must conclude my business with Miss Leger and her companions.
Of course.
You've been through a great deal. I cannot thank you enough.
Oh, I think you can. A few thousand ways, in fact.
Straight to business. I admire that. I won't keep you any longer. Here is your payment. Mr. Ackerman was promised 25,000, but considering all your trouble, I've increased it to 27. I'm sure you'll find it easier to divide.
I mean, 30 would be even easier. Woohoo!
Thank you, Mrs. Shaw.
Pleasure doing business with you. Before you go, I made some inquiries and learned a few rather compelling things about General Laporte. I could share the information if you like.
Yeah.
Go on, then.
It seems General Laporte was a staunch supporter of Mr. Atwood's trade party, quite vocal about his desire for the advancement of steam tech and etheric research. There were also rumours that he held some more controversial opinions regarding this country's sovereignty.
He was a separatist?
Apparently so.
You think Project Rosewater was meant to arm some kind of etheric revolution?
I am merely relaying the information I've learned. Anything beyond that is pure speculation. The only person with knowledge of Laporte's motives is the man himself.
And that information died with him. Well, with him gone and the prototype pistol destroyed, whatever plans he had can't come to fruition.
For now, yes. But I can tell you one thing about this world. It is rare that one accomplishes anything of note alone.
We should get back to our hotel. It's been a long night.
Indeed. Goodbye, Miss Leger. I hope you and your friends enjoy the rest of your time in El Presidio.
And thank you, Miss Leger. I appreciate your facilitating this new opportunity.
Best of luck to you, Dr. Clark. This was all very enlightening.
The following evening.
So, what are you two planning on doing next?
I have decided to stay in Vespuccia and help Antonio and the refugees settle into their new lives here. General de la Vega means to return and fight. She should be well equipped after securing Laporte's Aurum. But I feel it is my duty to assist those who were displaced here.
What about you, Danny?
I'm not really sure. Suppose it wouldn't be such a bad idea to visit my folks. It's been too long. After that, guess I've got to find a new line of work. And what about you, Harley?
Suppose I'll head back to Rosewater. I've got an article to write after all.
So, this is where we bid each other farewell, eh?
This is where we part ways, for now. But you know where to find me. And you can be damn sure I'll write back. I'll see you both around. It was a real pleasure traveling with you.
Hasta luego.
So long.
Sometime later.
I'm back.
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
Did I miss anything while I was gone?
Let's see. There was a dust devil by the saloon that nearly knocked Sheriff Gamble's hat off.
Front page news, then.
Seriously, though, I spoke with the leader of the Autumn. She gave
See,
me some
she's
good
got new
stuff.
windows.
The article runs next week. What of your great adventure?
Concluded now. But I've got plenty of material for an article. Maybe even 5.
Then you'd best get to it. Better to jot everything down while it's still fresh.
Right you are, boss.
We get to
They
choose what we
say
write.
the end of every journey marks the beginning of another. If there's any truth to that, this writer hopes the next one is decidedly duller. My companions and I set out from Rosewater and traveled across the Vespuccian frontier, encountering bandits, rebels, visionaries, eccentrics, and many more friends and foes. We were led to believe that our quest was for Dr. Bennett Clark's missing fortune, but as it turned out, we were on the trail of the very man himself. The following is an account of that journey, with no detail spared, no fact left unrelated.
Never did see Jake again.
And so at the journey's end, you may ask yourself, dear reader, what of the main players in this saga? Danny went home to a happy reunion with his parents. He says he's hung up his pistols and retired from gunslinging, with the intent of pursuing a culinary career. I said I'd be a regular if he ever opened a restaurant. I shall have to honor that promise should it come to pass. General Marquez, known to us as Phil, has reunited with a group of new Spanish refugees in the town of Shivering Pines. He is helping them to acclimate to this new land and has helped them secure jobs and living quarters. I have no news of the new Spanish Revolution, but Phil seems happy to be leading his people to a new life here in Vespuccia. I wish them all the best.
Ah, good for him.
Nadine Redbird has written to tell me she has fully recovered from her wounds and begun the process of obtaining her medical license.
Good for her.
She tells me she plans to convert Lola Johnson's wagon into a kind of mobile clinic,
Sleazaloo.
traveling the frontier helping those in need. It will be a welcome change from the usual traveling merchants hawking miracle cures. I can think of no one more qualified to dispense medical care. As for Miss Johnson, this new business venture will hopefully be more to her liking. At the very least, she now sets her own course, rather than bending to the whims of her clients. Miss Johnson and I never much saw eye to eye. She probably wouldn't even have liked me writing that, come to think of it. Still, it's reassuring to know that she has found some happiness with Nadine. Of course, I must acknowledge the catalyst for this grand adventure, Gentleman Jake Ackerman, albeit with some trepidation. For while it's true that he set this whole adventure in motion, It is my unpleasant duty to inform you, dear readers, that Mr. Ackerman is nothing more than a fraud. Far from the brave and noble hero he purports to be, Jake showed his true colors in a moment of danger. We found ourselves ambushed by Blackburn agents. Jake disgracefully turned and fled, leaving us to face the ruthless barbarians on our own. I have not heard from him since, nor would I wish to. As far as I'm concerned, he could be dead in a ditch or drowned in cheap whiskey.
If there was an alternate way for that to resolve.
The sooner this fallen star fades from our collective memories, the better we can all sleep. As for Dr. Clark, he seems happy in his new employment at Vespuccia Petrol. I can only hope his contributions to Mrs. Shaw's enterprise offer greater balm to the restless, inventive mind than the manufacture of apocalyptic weaponry. That, dear readers, is the long and the short of it. This was an adventure unlike any other I've been on. I doubt any other will ever compare. Whew, my hand hurts. We'll see what Joni has to say about this in the morning. Well, what do you think?
You want my honest opinion?
Yes, of course I do.
It's good. Very good. It's great, actually. There's just no way on God's green earth we can print this.
Why not?
Secret underground laboratories, government conspiracies, special projects to develop etheric weapons. No one will believe a word of it. Not to mention you name some very powerful and important people who'd have me locked up for libel with a snap of a finger.
You're telling me I spent all night writing this article for nothing?
No, let's not be hasty. Maybe what you wrote just wasn't what you meant to write.
Come again?
This story's got everything. Adventure, mad scientists, conspiracies, betrayals. Folk would pay through the nose to read this. If it were a novel.
Novel?
Sure. All you have to do is change the names, do a little narrative restructuring. You can even say it's based on actual events. That way we're off the hook if anyone's feathers get ruffled. What do you think?
A whole book, huh?
Trust me, I have a nose for these things. This one smells like a hit. You're sitting on a pile of aurum.
All right. I'll do it.
Excellent. Now all we need's a title.
That's your job, isn't it?
Suppose it is. It needs to be something catchy. Something simple yet evocative. Something like...
A tale of adventure and camaraderie on the western frontier. Awesome. And there we go. That was an absolutely lovely time. That's got to be one of my favourite point-and-click adventure games I've played for a while. Actually, that was great. I mean, the story was interesting. The characters were interesting. I hate to use that word again, but it was nice to get to know them, like on the road, and gradually have conversations with them where they gradually opened up, and you learned kind of where they'd come from, how they felt about things. And it was a nice pace. You had a lot of stuff at the beginning, then it kind of was all these little vignettes and stuff that kind of revealed stuff about the world that they're inhabiting. It felt kind of unhurried in a way, even though we were pursuing a treasure hunt. It felt like a road trip, an adventure. It was really well done. And then when you got to El Presidio, things actually went a lot quicker than I was expecting, given the pace of the middle act. I was expecting maybe another couple of episodes out of this. I don't think it was necessarily the puzzles, because I didn't feel like they were particularly challenging. I don't feel I rushed through stuff that other people would particularly struggle with. It just got to the point where it was like, yeah, let's get to the conclusion. And it was good. It ended in a nice way. Like I said, I'd be interested to know if there are alternate endings for the various characters, and I'm sure there is. Maybe depending on your relationship with them on the road and the choices you make. Especially Jake. Is there things I could have done? Because I know that some of the vignettes that you come across on the road, there's affected by your relationship level with the different characters. There's a low relationship encounter that you have with one of the characters and a high relationship encounter. For instance, the General Marquez one with the Church of People, the refugees. that was a high relationship encounter. So if we hadn't had a very good relationship with him at that point of the game, we would have had a different one, based on a low relationship. Now the one with Jake's one was the poisonous spring with the con artist. And that was his low relationship encounter. Now I was thinking it's perhaps because it's early in the road trip, it was one of the first or second stops on that route, and maybe we just hadn't got to know him well enough yet. But then I was thinking, especially by the end, maybe we just didn't hit it off with Jake enough. Like particularly early on, when he was telling his stories, we were kind of humiliating him a little bit. I mean, I was kind of looking upon that as like banter, like a bit of fun banter with him. But maybe that meant that we picked the options that just didn't develop our relationship with him enough. And maybe if you went into that Blackburn fight with a high relationship with Jake, perhaps he doesn't abandon you, or perhaps he thinks differently and meets you in El Presidio or something and reunites, perhaps, because it kind of had her kind of ending text on Jake just felt quite, if that is like what everyone gets, it felt quite a bit mean and cynical. So I think it's probably one of maybe two, and I think maybe you get one of two endings for each character depending on high or low relationship, and I feel like the others probably they all ended up in fairly good terms. So I wonder if that's kind of based on high relationship with the other characters. Just a few thoughts there. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on on the game, on the characters, the story, the puzzles, the ending. Let me know your thoughts on how that all shook out in the end. I know I never did get to the rest of all the journal entries. Like I said, I was kind of expecting at least another couple of episodes perhaps to gradually work through those, but hopefully you enjoyed the ones as far as we got anyway. But yeah, thanks for coming along this ride with me, and hope to see you elsewhere on the channel. If you enjoyed this, as I hope you did, if you could hit that like button, that'd be fantastic. As I said, do leave a comment, let me know your thoughts come the end of this game, and if you're watching this and not yet subscribed to the channel, if you could do that, that'd be amazing. So it just remains for me to say a final goodbye, and see you next time on Boring Dad Gaming for other games and other playthroughs. Bye for now.